So we have access to the clicker.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bonjour et bienvenue au cours marketing B2B. Désirez-vous avoir le règlement en français ou en anglais? In English?
In English.
Each team has 20 minutes to present the case in front of the jury. Presentation will be timed with a chronometer. Time will be indicated at the following segments to remind the participants of the remaining time to complete presentation. So 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. In the last 10 seconds, remaining seconds will be announced with both hands. If presentation isn't completed after 20 minutes, presentation will be automatically stopped with a verbal announcement in order to move to the question period. A period of 5 minutes is allocated to the jury to ask questions concerning the presentation. After 5 minutes, a verbal announcement will stop the question period, even if the question or the answer isn't complete. It is mandatory that at least one question is asked by the jury to complete the question period. Note that if a participant reveals the name of or the source of the university will lead to penalty. In order to start the presentation, please turn off any electric device that could be a nuisance during the presentation. I will now let the jury present themselves.
Good afternoon, my name is Louise Cote, I'm president of Lancaster Communication.
Hello, Marlène Garbo. I'm a marketing and communications coordinator at AVNR.
Marc Pascal-Gravel, I'm marketing coordinator at AVNR.
Geneviève Bedovois, I'm a marketing strategist at Starcom Worldwide.
So you can start
With technology advancing at the rate that it is, the most important thing to keep in mind is the human element. So why the human element? Well, when we look at the relationship AVNR has with its clientele, we see that there's a lot of important stakeholders. You see the employees at AVNR as well as the factory workers at the facilities in which their technology is used. Now, when it comes to these specific employees for these factories, they act as indirect competition for AVNR's new technology. Today, 3 important buzzwords we want you to keep in mind are acquire, visualize, and retain. At the end of this 20 minutes, those 3 words will encompass the AVR strategy.
Bon après-midi, mesdames et messieurs. Mon nom est Aurélie et voici mes collègues Michaela et Sarah. Et sans plus tarder, entamons notre présentation sur notre stratégie qui se compose de 3 lettres, A, V et R. So this is the agenda for today. We're going to discuss about the current situation of AVNR, the pain points, and identify the opportunity. We're also going to discuss about how we came up with our decision, and we are going to talk about our strategy in detail and its benefits to the key stakeholders, as well as describe to you how the customer journey can be applied, and finish off with the implementation timeline, as well as a financial discussion on the impact.
Okay, so when we take a look at the current situation, what we can see is that advanced technological product in a niche market. That's what you bring to your clientele, and this is specific to improving their operational efficiency. Now, when we look at the complication here, as we mentioned before, the indirect competition, it comes from manual labor. So the question is really, how do you communicate to current and prospective clients that robots complement the human experience? And this is where we focus on your marketing channels, the ones that you already utilized, and specifically ones that we will use in the AVR strategy. So when we look at a company profile, for the last 25 years, you guys have had leadership in the industrial automation sector. Now, when we talk about a niche market, we're focusing specifically on what your technology brings to the factory level, improving efficiency, reducing the need for manual labor, and of course, improving the technology across the board. Now, when it comes to the customers, we see that you have the world's leading aircraft engine manufacturers, and this is something to be leveraged and something that we're going to bring up throughout our presentation and complement in future dealings. Now, when we look at the budget, you gave us a budget of around $35,000. This is something we've kept to, but we also have a lot of future considerations that we think can come from our idea. Finally, when we look at humanizing robotics, it's a way of communicating with your customers. And we're going to do that on your existing marketing channels. And as you can see, we'll do this across 3 different continents, which is your area of focus, both North America, Europe, and Asia. Specifically, what we want to focus on is the 76% comprised of North America and exactly those current marketing channels that you use in order to communicate across the board.
So in order to develop a strategy, we thought it was important to look at the key stakeholders for AVNR. So it's the aircraft engine manufacturers, the client factory employees, and AVNR itself. So when we look at each stakeholder, firstly, we'll look at aircraft engine manufacturers. So it's important that this strategy leads to an increase in productivity and also employee satisfaction and lower costs. Looking at the second stakeholder, the employees of the manufacturing facilities, it's important that the marketing strategy communicates that introducing robots to the workplace leads to, and it doesn't decrease employee job satisfaction, and it ensures job security, and it reassures employees that they're not going to be in a volatile work experience, and that this new strategy will introduce employees to how to work well with employees in the workplace. So there will also be an educational element to the strategy. And thirdly, AVNR. It's important that this strategy leads to an increase in profit for the company, also increases the conversion rate, and leads to an increased retention for its current employees and the ones that currently are with the company.
So when it comes to how we came to our decision, as we mentioned before in the current situation, what we can see, the question we are left with is how do you communicate to current and prospective clients that robots complement the human experience? So we had 2 areas of focus that we really wanted to look at, digital as well as physical. But given that you do appeal to 3 different continents, we decided to go with the digital route and specifically focused on innovating on social media platforms and capitalizing on a digital trend that's actually used by a lot of your clients within their factory dealings. So that's where we came up with implementing the AVR strategy. And this will come up a little bit as we break down our opportunity.
So the opportunity here is that by improving customer acquisition, creating a visual experience for the clientele, as well as ensuring stakeholder satisfaction and retention, AVNR will realize their values as a human, innovative, and customer-centric company and reach a 75 to 100K in incremental profit with the strategy that we are proposing. So this is how it's done. This is the 3 pillars of our strategy: acquire, visualize, and retain. And we're going to dive deeper into them. First of all, acquire.
So when we focus on acquire, what we want to focus on is your current media channels. So we see that you use channels like Twitter, LinkedIn, and we also see that you use a technological blog relayed by a newsletter. So this is more of a fixed display of information. And by that we mean consumers see it, they can't really interact with it though. And that's what leads us to innovating these current channels. And we want to focus on operating a chatbot and using it as a first touch point to a personalized experience. So integrating that human element within the chatbot on these current platforms. So how will this look exactly? Okay, so let's say we go to a Twitter page and we see a chatbot and someone has a question about your technology. They have the ability to ask now, and they can talk to specifically Ava. So who is Ava? Well, Ava can actually take on a personality, and depending on how you want to go how far you want to go with the R&D development, we want to focus on specific case studies, including Health Canada, which recently integrated a chatbot to talk with youth about the effects and health risks of cannabis, and also CoverGirl, where their chatbot on their website actually embodied a personality of an influencer. So this is a way to engage with your clientele in an interactive and fun way. And with that being said, it will link you directly to the AVNR information. And some of the key benefits we also want to see is that there's international reach here because it is on a digital platform. So we want to redirect the user to an app download to help visualize the factory's transformation and also compute cost savings. So this is exactly why integrating a chatbot can help lead to other channels as well. And that's what brings us to another point of visualize.
So the next point about their strategy is that we want customers to be able to visualize to gain more trust and transparency in the AV&R products. So currently, there is a bit of time-consuming demonstrations that are live, and we also have training methods such as PowerPoints and tech specification sheets that are physical or online and that are only two-dimensional. They're also bounded by geographical locations because you cannot send them worldwide. So there is an opportunity for better cost and time efficiency here. And this is what we propose. We propose to innovate by making the demo available anytime and anywhere with an AR app, so augmented reality, and provide real-time assistance, transcend geographic boundaries for sure to improve international reach, and move towards the trend of going digital, and to make it more convenient, transparent, as well as innovative and appealing to the customer. And this will be done through an app. So using augmented reality, the customer is able to hold their phone up in the factory and see what the robot can do right here through their process and through the app, and see how the robots can improve their process and the efficiency. And in real time, they can calculate the time and money that they will save through the process. So this app will have links from Twitter and LinkedIn and YouTube. So it's kind of like the complementary second step to the first step of acquiring the customer, just to let them see what the process is to increase their trust with the company and really see how the factory can come into life.
So the third pillar of the strategy is retain, which is focusing on retaining employees. Because when robots are introduced to a workplace, it's a shock to companies, and many employees might be scared of the idea of working with robots and how that will play out. So we recommend doing an educational program for employees with currently the company has demonstration videos, PowerPoints, and technical blogs. We aim to build off of this current strategy and offer help by offering a discussion forum where individuals within the same company can ask questions and communicate with one another about how to use the machines to make it to facilitate their understanding of how to work with robotics. We also recommend introducing webinars where there can be pre-recorded videos teaching employees how to work with these machines. And also, there should be opportunities for employees to have live bookings with current employees where they can ask them specific questions about their current situation. And this element of the strategy will allow for a smoother transition for employees in the workplace working with the robots. So there will be an educational link within the app that will direct the user to YouTube. And as I previously mentioned, the objective of the educational program is to just facilitate the transition to robotics in manufacturing facilities. I previously mentioned this on the previous slide, and this is what it would look like on the app, the link.
All right, so now here it comes down to how do we integrate these three components of the strategy together into one customer journey? And this is what I'm going to explain to you. So let's take, for example, one of your existing clients of the existing brand that you already serve to, Ava. So Ava is browsing through her emails, checking through the newsletter of AV&R, or she could be also seeing it on the website or also on the social media channel that there is this profile that's called the Ava chatbot. So she's really curious about what this chatbot does and realizes that it's from AV&R. So she asks all her questions to Ava and gets introduced to the AR app if she's not convinced yet or if she wants to see a live demonstration of it. So she downloads the app and then uses it in the factory or the manufacturing plant that she's in currently, and realizes the benefits and the costs and time savings and the increase in productivity right away with the app. Now it leads her to think, why don't I contact the sales team of AV&R and really buy this new line of robotics? So she will turn into a converting customer basically, and she will basically be able to contact the sales team, convert, and start using the robotics by integrating it. And we are also planning on using the online brand forum to create a sort of referral because we can spread the word on the forum. So after she uses, she can ask all of her questions and difficulties that she faced with using the robotics in her manufacturing center by communicating through the forum or by checking the webinars to get help. And this ensures her satisfaction, and she also has assistance and can provide it to all the employees of her manufacturing center to combine robotics with the humanizing factor of the employees. And this will help her company increase productivity as well as decrease costs and achieve greater customer satisfaction for their own customers.
So future considerations that we thought would be useful in the future, but we did not consider in this specific strategy due to budget constraints, were to provide an increase in productivity quote, where prospective customers could input information as to how long it currently takes employees to do the jobs that these robotics could also work with employees to do, how many employees are involved in that step, the operation line of the company, like the waiting time for that step, how long other operations take within the line, to provide how much using robotics would help the company increase their productivity. We also thought it would be useful to provide a referral program, as currently the company treats each individual manufacturing facility as a customer, while there might be many brands that are customers, but not each factory underneath the brand. So by providing a referral program where manufacturers under each brand could get discounts if they refer other companies to this, to the robotics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important that we look at the financials. How much will this cost? So in terms of the web development, we estimated that it would be about $10,000 to develop the webinar. In terms of developing the chat box, this would be about $10,000, and developing the app would be about $15. So all of these would be upfront cost year one. So total cost $35,000. We assumed that the cost of the machines were $30,000 to $40,000, that this strategy would lead to an incremental sale of 50 machines, and that the company has a profit margin of 5%. So this would result in a 2019 profit of $75,000 to $100,000.
So when we look at the implementation, we want to focus on the fact that the company is celebrating its 25th anniversary, which means it has to come out with something big by the end of 2019. What we want to focus on is first from the 0 to 3 months, so right around now, you start right away on the app development as well as developing the algorithm for the chatbot. And what we can also see here is that you have to implement a branding strategy where you're bringing something new to your marketing, your current and existing marketing channels. So when it comes to gathering the different requirements, it's important to do research. So look at exactly what went right with the chatbots on the market. So specifically that of CoverGirl, and we also see that of Health Canada mentioned previously. Now moving on to the 3 to 6 month range, we have to do a lot of app testing. It needs to be thorough, and we need to make sure that it will reach a specific target audience of your clientele, and we can also get feedback collection and app improvement. Now when it comes to that 6 months to the end of the year, you're going to launch that chatbot and the app and collect data and monitor feedback. So when it comes to launching that specific chatbot, what we want to focus on is bringing it right before November 4th anniversary and making sure that it generates a lot of buzz, that you get a lot of traffic on your website, and again, also leading towards the app and making sure that all the features work there for your prospective clients. And finally, at the end of the year, it's important to do an optimization check-in to make sure that everything is going well with the app and your customers are enjoying it. And of course, consider those future considerations going forward.
So our mandate was to help AV&R reach targets to strengthen the credibility of AV&R as an expert in the robotic finishing on gas turbine parts in aerospace engineering. So with our strategy of acquiring new customers through the implementation of the social media chatbot and just increasing awareness online and expand their international reach, Visualize, which is to provide more transparency and trust with its existing customers and trying to acquire more manufacturing plants. And as well as Retain, to smoothen the transition between the robots, to smoothen the transition between going from an all-human manufacturing plant to human plus robots in harmony. AV&R will be seen as more human, innovative, and customer-centric, while their clients will achieve increased productivity and employee satisfaction. Mesdames et messieurs, merci de votre écoute et nous allons passer aux questions et nous sommes prêtes à répondre à vos questions en anglais et en français. Merci.
I have a question for you. I understand your strategy and why and what we want to achieve, but how all this strategy could be related to the 25th anniversary? What kind of messages you can send to highlight that this is an important year for AV&R?
That's a great question, and what we want to focus on is the human element that is innate to your company. The fact in design, making it user-friendly, and that's exactly why we focused on our strategy of acquire, visualize, and retain. Because what we want to focus on is not only acquiring and giving that personal element on your digital platforms, but also providing an educational workshop to understand that people need to move with technology and not against it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question about how you're going to drive traffic to our social with Ava there. There's no paid media in your budget, so how are we going to bring awareness that we do have this new chatbot on our social?
So for the chatbot strategy, basically we're going to create a new Facebook or Twitter page for Ava itself, and it will be like a standalone page. And with increased interaction, so we're going to promote it through newsletters to existing customers, and with the increased interaction and traffic of people just spreading on social media saying like, hey, this is the new chatbot, that's a robot that I can ask questions to, but that represents a human. It will drive traffic that is organic through to the page, which is a reason why we didn't include paid advertising.
Avez-vous une idée de comment vous pensez créer le buzz pour lancer l'application? Une stratégie média, on fait ça sur les réseaux, on a-tu un événement?
So for the application, what we'll do for the strategy of creating buzz for the application is we're basically going to promote the app through the social media chatbot. So whenever a person asks in detail question, the algorithm can recognize to which point should I introduce the app to the customer, so the customer can click on the link and download the app. And this is a part of the traffic we want to generate to the app. And we also want to introduce the app through email marketing, so newsletters, as well as display it on the website that is redesigning, and through the technical blog that you guys have in place to existing customers.
The example you've given us about the chatbot, that was really B2C content. Do you really think that every CEO of the company that we're targeting has time to go and chat with a bot on social instead of calling one of our vendors?
I think one of the important elements of the chat box is to emphasize the humanizing quality that AV&R has with the robots, how it's able to play the role of a human and interact with humans, and just augment what a human can already do. That being said, there are people available at the company to speak with the CEO if they have questions, but to gain the initial attraction and attention of prospective employees, seeing that there is this chatbot that's a robot that can interact with them, just emphasizes the level of innovation that the company has. So it's a marketing element, but also an assistive element if the CEO of companies would like to also use that.
All right, and I do have a question on the app itself. You have lots of features in it, but we know that maybe 7 out of 8 downloaded app get deleted after the first try. What is our key selling point for that one? Because it's really cool with the AR, we're in 2019, nice, but what's after that?
So what's after the app is that we want to launch because we only have a 1-year timeline. So the app will have 2 features. So the AR, and the educational component with the forum. That's the only 2 features for the MVP, which is a minimum viable product. And then based on that, we can go back in an agile manner to iterate and build new features for the app according to whatever you consider useful in the future. So these are the 2 basic ones.
Okay, but the educational part,
Mhm.
you're still driving traffic off the app and to YouTube, right?
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Something to quickly add on though about the chatbot is that you're going to be collecting a lot of data, and this can easily turn into frequently asked questions, which can show up on your app as well and lead to assistance throughout the use of through manufacturing.
Yep. Do you have to do anything for this?
No, I'm just
Awesome.
waiting.
Thank you.
Thank you.